Okay, we're back on.
It's on?
Yep.
Yeah, well, that's the way things went for me. So I never give up hope, though. Because even though I'm a diabetic and I've had that heart attack and I've had high blood pressure and I've had things, I don't know, you name it, I've had it. But anyway, and being I was an alcoholic, all that stuff. But I never give up on myself and I never give up on humanity. Some people say, you know, some people are thieves and some people are crooks and killers and stuff like that. But I still retain my cultural respectability as far as environmental is concerned and everything like that. I'm an environmentalist in a way. Preservation, I like that. It's just the fact that it's wonderful to be alive. And like I was saying about my daughters having children, I wish the hell their boyfriends would smarten up and get working and so on and so forth. Because, I mean, I do help my kids out a lot. If they sometimes they can't pay the rent or somebody, I lend them money to do that. If I was to get all my money back I've loaned out to people, I would have about $30,000-$40,000. Now that was my money. I helped people out. My sister owed me about $3,000, and her husband is on the verge of death if he ain't dead yet. But things that's the way things go. I mean, I've helped so many people that way, even being a diabetic. Even me, I need help periodically. But what can I do? You know, people are more destitute than I am, and I believe in helping people. Sometimes even strangers, people I hardly know, want to borrow some money. I lend it to them. There's a lady working that's working in Schweigen, and she's married, but she came to borrow money off me for gas for her car. What does her husband do? How come he can't put gas in her car when she goes to work? Things like that happen. I don't know why. I keep thinking they must think I'm a bank or some damn thing. That's what it. That's just you know, it's astounding. So that's the thing. If I was to get all my money back in one lump, I'd buy myself a new car. But what do I need a new car for? Where am I going?
Well, you're a chief now. Don't you have a lot of things you need to be involved in and commitments and things like that?
Tell me about it. I was in negotiations with the government. I sat on that negotiating committee for 2 years. And as a matter of fact, I got one check from all that time of negotiations, sitting at the table and talking about land claims and different things that's happened by the government of Canada against the Native people. I got one check for I think it was $110, $120 or something like that. Otherwise, outside, the rest of that was all out of my own pocket, going back and forth to these meetings and all that, and spending time day after day sitting at that negotiating table discussing the protocol that the government is trying to propose to Native people, what we should be doing. Well, he's talking bullshit. That's not right. You can't come along and dictate to us like that. And that's something that the government of Canada, the federal government and the provincial government were both sitting at the table. Yet at the same time they can't give us an answer for what happened in the past. Up there, some of those books up there, I have different treaties and stuff like that that's not being acknowledged. And even right today, they're still taking our land base, and we're not doing nothing about it. They holler about terrorism. I got a T-shirt that terrorism says it started in 1887 something. When Columbus came, 1492. That's when terrorism started in Canada. Because that's when people come over the old country and they start take. That's their attitude. And that's very frustrating. So to this day, I don't know, like I have, that's why I was looking at that Realty Corporation. If they take over these reserves in Canada, what right do we have after that? We don't have any. So I've got all the papers there. That's a court case that went against that Mr. Sanford, David Sanford fought, and won a case for the Hurons. And then, according to our stats, it says in there that for every day that the Ontario Realty Corporation is dragging its feet, they owe us $50,000 per day. And they've been dragging their feet for the last 100 and some days. So at $50,000 per day, how much would that amount to? You see, that's what we can go after. Now, how long am I going to last in this world to be able to fight this? To be able to be involved in the political aspect of our people? I need help myself. I'm not a very smart man. My educational process only went far as grade 5. From that time on to now, I've been self-taught more than anything. I've asked, I've talked to people, and I've looked at documentation. I can read damn near anything and understand what it is, but I can't write. I can't write. I can't spell, but I can read. It's quite ironic in a sense of the word, because I mean I can do that. I understand it. I understand what things mean, but I can't spell it. You take hippopotamus, it's a long word, spell it.
HIPPOP. Amos. Or is it Omus?
Well, you understand what I said?
Yes, I do.
What did I say?
You said that you can read the language, but you can't spell it.
Yeah, and what did I tell you to spell?
Hippopotamus.
How did I say that?
You said, can you spell hippopotamus?
I said hippopotamus is a long word, spell it. I-T.
Oh, I-T. I wasn't listening. Should have known that one. My kids do that to me all the time. Spell it. Okay.
Yeah, so what else do you want to know?
Well, you've learned, you've seen a lot of things in your life, right? You've from growing up to raising a family to the lifestyle challenges that you've gone through, and now you're back around, and now it sounds to me like you're waking up and you're seeing the things that need to be done now, and you're playing an active role as chief for the Onondagas, right? And now you're into government and political stuff, and now you have these health challenges where your legs and your heart and everything, and you're saying that your age is coming up now, and you want to do some more things, but you're saying that you're not going to be around long enough perhaps to finish the battle out, and you need some help.
Well, I do need some help.
So what would you do differently? What would you do differently now, knowing what you know now in your life? What would you have done differently?
What I would have done differently, I think I'd have exercised more. I would have, if I could do things over, I wouldn't have been an alcoholic. I think I would have been a sports person. Because, when my younger day, before I became an alcoholic, I used to be a hockey player, a ball player. I've been on a couple of championships. I don't know what the hell my stuff is for that. I've been a bowler. I used to bowl in the league. I bowled all the way to Rochester, down stateside. I've gone to stateside bowling. Stuff like that. I would have stayed more in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Because out there, and then I'd probably... Did you know I was on the President's Committee at McMaster University?
No, I didn't.
I was in that. I was in there for 3 years. And I used to go to their meetings, and I used to talk with Dr. this, Dr. that, and everything like that. And I was there sitting there at the table with all these academic people. I had a grade 5 education. It was quite ironic. I never told them I only had grade 5.
Wow. So you're saying then that your mind is still good.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have a good memory. Because if somebody can't write, you can't take notes on anything.
No.
No, so you'd have to remember that.
I have to, well, the percentage of it, yeah.
Yeah, or else memorize a lot of words, right?
I hear it. I mean, I retain it to a certain extent in my mind, yeah. So that's the thing. I used to sit there and listen to guys, Dr. Fight and Dr. Coleman, Dr. this and Dr. that, talking. And I remember those things. But that's one thing that helped me out is that I did have a good memory, but it's starting to go too. I forget things now and then. Sometimes I forget little things to start with. But otherwise, I don't feel too bad. I feel pretty good as it is right now today. I feel my eyes. I could see a mouse running across that floor way down in that garage over there.
Better eyes than me.
And I got such good eyes. I can see about 3 million miles. One guy said, "You can't do that." I said, "Yes, I can." "How can you see that far?" I said, "God damn it, I can see the moon at night." He didn't think I knew to do things like that.
So your life lesson would be then that if you could do things over, you would exercise more.
I would exercise a hell of a lot more.
And stay in school.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I should be doing that. I should do that now. I mean, I should be walking because I notice since I've had my problem with my knee and my heart attack and stuff like that, I have noticed a deterioration in my system. It's deteriorating because inactivity. You have to have activity in order to keep your body functioning. If you don't do that, you lose it. That's what the nurse told me one time. I used to work in Washwegan at old age home. When it first came up, they was in that hospital, Lady Wellington Hospital. They used that as an old age home. I got a job there for about 5 years. I worked there as a maintenance man. And that Chinese nurse used to be there. And she said, "Mr. General, who do you go out with at night?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Well, do you have a wife?" Or at the time, my wife had just left me. "Who do you go out with at night?" I said, "Nobody." She said, "Well, you should." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "If you don't use it, you lose it." I said, "What do you mean?" "You know what I mean." And I think that's true. So that's another thing. That's another subject altogether. But that's something like, in diabetes, you have to be very careful on stuff like that. And that's something. I heard that a long time ago, and I mean, I didn't believe it, but it does. It works that way. So in this day and age, now that I'm 77, never ever thought in my younger days that I would ever reach into the 70s. I used to be a hellraiser. When I was a boozer, I used to be all over the damn place. I've been in a couple of car accidents, and I come out of it. I became a chief. Then I changed my life around. Then I started showing respectability for the culture, for the traditions, and for the sake of